guy thinking he's going to do? Well, hey, it's YouTube. Hey, you're still with me. You're still here. I'm still here. That's good. And it looks like I got a few extra subscribers, even though I haven't really been putting in the work as far as YouTube goes. But welcome back. I'm glad to be back. I think I can call this truck stop my definite home away from home. It's the same truck stop that I've done the last few videos from, because it's the only time I get a chance to actually breathe. Let me try to get this a little more level. There we go. Yeah, this is the truck stop that's very close to my trainer's home, and he has to take care of some business for a few days. So I get a few days to breathe and live the human life as much as possible at a truck stop. I love it here. It's really a well-run Flying J. Never a wait for any showers. It's got a Denny's that's got really great customer service, and it's just nice to sit down and just kind of be human and slow down the pace a little bit and enjoy a meal sitting at a table. So I've actually come to really enjoy this this truck stop. And like I've been saying, you know, the TNT grind is real, and especially if you're on a truck that really doesn't stop. We're rotating 11-hour shifts basically. One drives, one sleeps. So it actually is kind of nice. I want to get my miles in, but it's kind of nice to take a little breather once in a while, and that's what I'm doing. So I'll be here for the next few days. I'm going to resist my usual urge to just vomit up anything that's on my mind on this episode. I'm going to try to keep it, you know, concise to a topic once I stop rambling here, and try to put out a couple more videos since I'll be here for a few days. I'll try to, you know, have a different topic each day. I'm thinking that the trend in the next 3 videos or so, if I follow my plan here, is going to be talking more about the reality. Because one thing TNT will teach you is a lot of the realities of trucking. You know, if you followed my journey, I'm a middle-aged plus, almost 50 guy who has said to hell with desk life, had a good paying job, high up at a mental health agency, but the stress was getting to me. My health wasn't good. Family life could be better. Money certainly needed to improve. And I just decided that I needed to do something drastic, or we just weren't going to claw ourselves out of the, I guess I'll call a rut, you know, that my family was in. So mine was to come trucking. The purpose of my videos is not to get you to come to Prime. It really is. It's not to get you to become a truck driver. I'm really trying to reach out to anybody who is, you know, middle-aged and finding yourself and your family in not the best of circumstances, or certainly not where you intended to be at this point in life. And if I can inspire anybody just to do something drastic, you know, clawing week to week, thinking the next pay period is going to be better, at least in my case, was never going to be the case. It took me a while to realize that. So anyway, that's what my channel's about for those of you that are new to the channel. Of course, if you do end up coming to trucking, coming to Prime, I've always said, you know, I'd be honored for you to use my driver code, and being reciprocal. If you show me that you use my driver code, I will be glad to exchange that for my contact information. If you want it, you and I will know each other, and as much as I'm able, I will be glad to help you out in any way I can, knowing that I'm brand new to this myself. I'm just now, as far as updates going, I just entered my 5th week, and I just crossed the 20,000 mile mark. So looking at probably, with these days off, it's looking like I'll probably be 2.5, maybe 3 weeks, and I'll be done with TNT. I'll talk a little more about, you know, how the TNT process in a later one. But today's topic, I had a subscriber ask me about the pay, or the money from start to finish through the training process. They were curious about how much money it's going to cost, what parts Prime pays. So I'll try to walk you through that. First and foremost, Prime will pay for your trip to Prime to some extent. I believe they'll pay for a Greyhound ticket. If you choose, I think they'll pay for your rental car. If you choose to drive yourself and or fly, something a little more expensive, I think there's a cap. I believe in my case, I drove my car. There was I think it was 300 for gas, I believe is the cap. But anyway, they paid for my gas on the way up here. So they pay for you to get here. Once here, first and foremost, your meals during orientation, they give you meal credits good at the Campus Inn cafeteria. It's also good at the Millennium cafeteria as well. They pay for all your meals during the orientation process. Once you're through the orientation process, you start getting a $200 a week interest-free loan. Again, underline loan. This is money that's designed for you to spend on meals and things like that, because the meal card does end right around that time. There's a little bit of overlap, as I recall. But anyway, you'll get $200 once you get your green badge. $200 will be loaded onto that every week. If you don't use it, you don't have to pay it back. But if you do use it, once you start getting a paycheck in your TNT, they'll take it back $25 at a time. Again, interest-free. Also, keep in mind, one thing that they do, they pay for basically your room as well. You will probably have a roommate, but whatever, the room is free during your PSD phase. So you got room, board, and a $200 a week loan while you're there. As I recall, as far as the overall price of the training, I do believe at some point you do have to pay $100. I think that's before you ever get there. I get a little hazy, but I do believe you pay for $100 for the whole shebang. Of course, you have to pay for whatever it costs at your DMV to get your CLP permit and your endorsements. In Virginia, that was minimal. It didn't cost much. Let's see. So room, board. Okay. Price of the actual training, I believe, is $4,475. I believe, somewhere in the realm of that. And you will be signing a contract for that amount that Prime will pay in full if you satisfy the contract, which says that you go through your training and you stay with Prime for 1 year from the date you get your CDL, which is your date of hire. All right, so I've talked about the PSD money. Once you get your CDL, you do have to run home and get that changed over to your home state. Prime does not pay for that trip. Let's see. All right, once you get your purple badge, which is it's the day of your CDL, getting your CDL, you are in essence hired as a company driver for Prime, not for the same contractual money, but you'll begin getting $900 a week salary while you're in your TNT phase. Now, there is a gap right now where you may be home or at Campus Inn for a few weeks before you get the call for a TNT trainer. You will get paid that $900 a week as long as you remain, quote-unquote, ready for dispatch. Meaning that at any time while you're home, if the trainer calls and says, I'm going to be there tomorrow to pick you up, you have to say, yes, sir, I'll be ready. Or, yes, ma'am, I'll be ready. No, you don't, there's no back and forth, unless the trainer is flexible in that manner. Ready for dispatch means ready for dispatch. It doesn't mean, can we do it Monday or Tuesday? I've got a party to go to, or that kind of thing. So as long as you're ready for dispatch, and you do have to check in weekly to let them know that you continue to be ready for dispatch, you'll get that $900 a week. Now that's pre-tax. You are a W-2 employee at that point. So mine is equating to, I do have $25 coming out for my loans, that $200 loan, and of course the taxes withheld. Mine comes to, I think, slightly over 803. So that $900 lasts the duration of TNT. one part is if you take home time during TNT, don't quote me on this one, but I do not believe that's considered ready for dispatch. So if your trainer takes home time or you take home time or both, that week or whatever time that's taken away is not ready for dispatch. Now, on things like I'm doing right now, which are just kind of on the way blips, I don't think there's going to be a halt in that. We're not going to be out for 5 or 6 days or a week. Could be wrong. Maybe it'll pop up, but I'm happy to go along if they prorate this week. No problem at all. All right, so that'll take you through TNT. And then, assuming you get through TNT and you're ready to go, you've got a week to 2 to 3 weeks waiting for your upgrade process to be done, and get your truck. And I'll just say I'm not sure about. I don't think that the 900 a week continues. May want to check with Mo or Mr. Lovey Lovey, their channels. They've just gone through the process. I don't want to quote anything on that part because I haven't gotten there yet, and I don't honestly know if the $900 a week continues through upgrade. I'm kind of thinking it doesn't. And also, if you're staying at hotel near the terminal you're at, I don't think they pay for that at that point either. But again, I can only talk this far because that's how far I've gotten. Anything beyond TNT, certainly don't quote me on that. So that's it. I mean, it's a great company for getting started. At least I know I can say that, because you can come in virtually with not 2 pennies to rub together. $100 plus all your DMV costs, and that's it. You start getting meals and room and board, and some money coming in from day one. So it's a pretty good gig, and someday I'll get into this channel's not going to be heavily involved with the money and lease versus company and all that. I'll let you know. I am going to go lease, but the money part is a requisite. I've said this before, but talking money is just not an interest of mine, and therefore it's not going to be a big focus of this channel. I will probably put out some stuff, but it's not going to be promoting lease over company or company over lease. But I do watch the other channels, and I see it seems like 2 or 3 of the same folks that tend to troll any primeinc person who goes out and says they're going to be lease and that, and they call them liars and this and that. And I may weigh into it a little bit later. For one thing, the guys I see that are consistent, that jump on and complain, no picture on their thumbnail, you go to their site, no content, no nothing, and if that ever comes to me, you really don't have the right to make me feel one way or the other. If you're not going to be on the stage as well, then your opinion really doesn't matter a whole lot, especially if you start with insults. But the part that I don't get with some of these, I mean, for one thing, a lease is a lease is a lease is a lease. You are paying for the right to use a money-making machine that you can't afford otherwise. It is basically what a lease or renting, or it's with trucking or cars or anything else. I can't afford to buy a truck and become my own authority or anything else of the sort. I've told you, come in here, I'm here because the money where it wasn't where it was. So what are your options? You look for driving schools that you can afford. Prime is darn near free if you follow your contract. All right, so those of us out there that are not millionaires, we go into Prime because it's the cheapest thing out there, and because it's extensive, and they're not just handing you the keys the day you get your CDL. They have the TNT phase. They do train you well. And then you're faced with 2 options, company or lease. You have to pick one or the other. So anyway, I did it again. I always go off on tangents, but anyway, it's just something I've been watching. I've got some channels out there that I've been following. They're like 3 or 4 weeks ahead of me in the process, and I just see them getting railed on by just because they said they chose lease. Tell me a better way to do it. I mean, you got to start somewhere. If you don't have the money to spend $6,000 on a CDL school, you come to Prime, they pay for all that stuff, and you're faced with an either-or choice. It isn't, you don't have the world is not your oyster at this point, you know, where you can pick and choose exactly the top of the mountain in the trucking industry. We don't have that choice. It's company or lease. And we put in our year, and then maybe we can make that jump. So anyway, someday, you know, I may address the troll thing again in the lease. It opens such a can of worms with some people. And, you know, for one thing, and again, I'm going long, but, you know, with me, and I think it's maybe most Gen Xers, you're barking up the wrong tree. You know, if you start off with an insult in my comments, I don't have to block you. You cease to exist. You are gone, you know. I have no time for you or what you have to say. And I also, you know, I wonder why these people, why are you watching in the first place? If not just to find, ooh, they're talking lease, I can be a total a-hole now. And if that's your gig, man, you know, find something else to do with your time. You know, and I also am struck by, you know, no one who is successful, well-adjusted, and happy trolls YouTube videos. You know, I think I heard on Joe Rogan, I don't even remember which episode, but they were talking, said, how much time do you think Michael Jordan in his heyday spent trolling videos on YouTube, you know? And it made quite a good point, you know. Happy, well-adjusted people are doing other things, and if they see something they don't like on the internet, they move on, you know. They don't feel the need to rip others down so that they may feel better for 5 seconds in their miserable life. Ah, okay. Blah. Got it off. Anyway, I'm going to call it there. Of course, I did not do what I said. I ended up getting on a big tangent, but some of you tend to enjoy that, I think. So, calling it there, and hopefully, if everything goes well, you'll see me again tomorrow. Bye, folks. And again, thanks for sticking with me. I know I haven't been doing the most consistent videos, just haven't had the time. And when I do have a moment, your mind's just on TNT and driving and stress and that kind of thing. I wouldn't have been able to put out a coherent video whatsoever if this is considered coherent. So thanks for sticking with me, and thank you to the new subscribers that have come in during a period where I haven't been able to be consistent. So once TNT is over, I'm a big believer in consistent videos, as close to daily as I possibly can. So all right, leaving it there. Bye guys, have a good one, see you tomorrow.